I guess like many other newsrooms, we're trying similar things, and I think I'd categorize them in two ways. We've got tools that help journalists do their journalism, so investigations, verification, passing data, and then tools that help us amplify our journalism, get them further, things like summarization, translation, and all those things. And a lot of our testing is internal, and we've got a few audience-facing ones, including translation. But the ones I wanted to focus on are slightly different. So the first one is around detecting deepfakes, and this is for stills. And this has been created by the BBC's R&D team working with researchers at Oxford University and with our BBC Verify team. So it's only in use by verified journalists at the moment, and they're testing its accuracy and doing all the kind of human processes they would normally do. But from what we can tell, it's kind of at 90% accuracy, which we're pretty happy with. So if you look at the heat map, it's kind of showing you where the eye is focusing, so the points where it's focusing. So we need to develop this further, and I think the next step will be things like adding explainability, so that actually can be used in the writing of stories or in explaining how we got to this point. I'll just show you an example of a fake. This is a very well-known fake, and so what the detector is able to do is it kind of can crawl Google as well and see actually there are already lots of articles about this, but it works even if that doesn't happen. And I tried it with a grab from Instagram the other day that I just spotted, and it worked equally well. And it gives you a percentage of confidence, which I think is also really important. And as I said, kind of we really want explainability in this, and also thinking of can we build some agents around this as well to do other bits of the process, so that in the end you get a much more rounded view of whether something is a fake or not. And I think this is really exciting. I think, obviously the premise is that we're going to get much more of this, and we are seeing more of this. Doing it with stills is the first step, because we know a lot of it will be video and audio is very challenging, I think. So the next tool is quite different, and I'm cheating a bit because actually it's not developed by news, it's developed by sport, but I love it so much that I thought I'd bring it. And the challenge here is that, people love their sport, and there are lots of matches, football matches, that aren't televised, and we don't do live pages on because we just don't have the resources to do every single match. So a team in Wales working with sport decided actually what can we do if we take local commentary from radio and put it into a live page. So we take the live radio program, it gets transcribed live through Azure, built a GPT, and that GPT, what it does is it detects key moments, so goals, penalties, and other things that happen in football matches. I'm not an expert, you can tell. And what it does is you get the transcripts, and it will start offering you key quote summaries and those key moments. And that goes into a live page once it's been edited by a human. And this is what the editorial team sees. So if you probably can't see at the back, but you've got the event, which is a goal, then you've got the quotes around it, and then you've got a full transcript so you can check against it. And we've also done summarization, so it's 40 minutes in and they're 1-0, whatever. This is how it appeared to audiences. So apparently this was one of our most popular pilots on this experiment, Cheltenham Tranmere. The live page got a bigger audience than we would have had on the radio. It wasn't televised, and what we're seeing is actually audiences really appreciating the fact that their local team is being covered. And the final point I want to make on this is I think they've done the transparency really nicely. So they are telling the audience that they are using AI to assist this. It's really important to us. It's been covered a lot this morning about how we talk about transparency. And it's difficult because I think for people who don't trust AI, actually that might make them not trust this. But we think doing it this way, which is actually quite chatty and saying, hey, this is how we're using it, this is how we're checking, has actually really helped us in this. So those are two of the very different tools we're using. And obviously this is a sport example. We have separate newsrooms, but we are I think this is a really nice model when you think about how much news we have on the radio at the BBC, just kind of thinking about how this might apply as well, and just making a lot more of the coverage we have, the great interviews we have and all that.